Good afternoon, SHS. Welcome to the Salem Show from our Washington County Community Foundation studios at Salem High School. I'm your host, Sydney Brown.
And I'm your other host, Flora Wade.
Welcome to our fantastic first episode.
Sydney, how about we jump right in with announcements?
Alrighty, let's get to it.
We have some upcoming events. First, Lions Unified will meet on September 19th at 10 a.m. in the presentation room.
The National Honor Society will meet on September 20th at 10 a.m. in the presentation room.
The Business Professionals meeting will meet on September 21st at 10 a.m. and, well, we're not sure, so keep posted.
High Y will meet on September 22nd at 10 a.m. in Mr. Alexander's room. Attention upperclassmen, do you want to take the SAT or ACT? Friday, October 7th is the deadline to register. The SAT will be given at SHS on November 5th. There is an ACT test given at SHS on October 22nd. The deadline to register is today.
See Mrs. Martin if you need help registering or if you can qualify for a free waiver. Go to the website below to register for the SAT and go to www.act.org to register for the ACT.
Just a reminder to all students, the temporary free grace status for meals ended yesterday. Beginning today, unless you have been approved for free or reduced meals from the school for this school year, though direct certification or a meal application, you will need to have money in your lunch account beginning today to purchase a lunch or breakfast.
Please ask the cashiers in the cafeteria if you are not sure how much money is in your lunch account. If you are not sure if you are already approved for free or reduced meals for this year, you may check with Ms. Gramlin in the bookstore.
Also, remember to turn in any applications for free or reduced meals to the bookstore or office.
Booster Club t-shirts are in and can be picked up in Mrs. Spaulding's classroom before school.
Remember, vending machines are off limits during school hours. If you need a snack, please go to the vending machines before school starts or after school is let out for the day.
And just your yearly reminder about your Chromebooks. Make sure when your Chromebook gets down to 5%, charge it.
Shut down your Chromebook to charge it. This will eliminate most issues in charging Chromebooks.
Winter is coming, so be careful with your Chromebook. Make sure you're not leaving your Chromebook out in the cold because this may harm the screen or interfere with connections.
Also, it still gets warm, so don't leave your temperamental Chromebook in your car when it gets hot either. Plastic melts.
Now let's head over to Davin for the weather. Please be sure that we are continuing this gorgeous weather.
So this week's weather has been incredible, and I hope it stays this way. So, this Friday, we'll have a high of 85 and a low of 60. We have a football game at Springs Valley, and it's going to be sunny all day. On Saturday, we'll have a high of 86 and a low of 62, and it's National Batman Day. It'll also be sunny. On Sunday, we have a high of 85 and a low of 63. Expect sunshine. This Monday, we'll have a high of 88 and a low of 65. And it's National Pirate Day, and it'll be sunny all day as well. On Tuesday, we have a high of 89 and a low of 65. It'll be partially cloudy. On Wednesday, we have a high of 87 and a low of 62. It'll also be partially cloudy. On Thursday, we have a high of 83 and a low of 57. Also partially cloudy, but it's also National Ice Cream Cone Day. On Friday, we'll have a high of 79 and a low of 58. It'll be sunny all day. And we have a game in Corden. Back to the anchors.
I'm not one of the anchors, but I'm bringing you today's community news. We had a chance to sit down and talk to our new superintendent, Dr. Rutherford. We're here today interviewing Dr. Rutherford, the new superintendent here at Salem Community Schools. Thanks for meeting with me today.
My pleasure.
What got you into the education field?
Education. When I was in college, I was trying to find my path, what direction I was going to go, and I had an uncle. And he was down in Texas, and he had told me, he goes, hey, just write down everything that you enjoy in life. And so I was writing down everything that I enjoyed in life, and then he said, then how can you make money doing it? And when I wrote down things, I taught swim lessons, and I started even with kids, infants, I would say, at 1, 2 years old, and I worked all the way up through, and even I had some adults as well. I taught vacation Bible school, taught some Sunday school. A lot of the things that I did in my world, even as high school, college age, worked around kids or students and that kind of thing. So I thought, what can I do with kids? And it came up education, so I'll be a teacher. So yeah, that's when I came into the education world. It was like a light bulb moment, like what can I do and what kind of things do I enjoy doing? And students always came up to my list. So yeah.
What advice would you give someone wanting to go into education?
Go for it. I am such a pro education person. And I say that, and I want to back that up just a moment and say, if you enjoy students, if you enjoy kids, 100% go into it. I think it is the most rewarding field you can get into. You can make a difference in so many kids' lives. And I say that, and I say education, but also, I mean, we have cooks who make a difference. We have bus drivers who make a difference, who's around the students, that's here for the right reasons. We have aides, you know, who work with our students. So it's not just the teachers who are amazing and make a big difference, it's everybody else as well. Our office ladies, you know, who handles with the students and that kind of thing. So, and you being a student as yourself, you remember all those people who made a difference in your life, whether it's a coach, because you play soccer, your coaches make an impact on you. So yeah, I am such a pro-education person. If you ever hang out with my family, with my daughters and that kind of thing, I always, you know, talk about how great it is to be in education, or even just to work into the school system and that kind of thing. And I say that with different people. I say bus drivers, cooks, I say, you know, the custodians, everybody that works in our schools, many times they have an impact on our students.
So what brought you to Salem?
The simple answer would be a job, but the more complex answer, or the true answer, would be before I even applied at Salem, my wife, my daughter, and I, we came to Salem, and we just kind of got to know the people, or, you know, started just to investigate and kind of see the community as a whole. Started looking things up, finding things out about Salem. More information we found out about Salem, the better it sounded. And meeting people and just different things like that. So it was kind of one of those, you have options, but once you kind of dig down and look at other things, you're like, wow, Salem sounds really good. And then you apply, and then things just worked out well.
What is your favorite part about working in Salem?
I've been here just a little over 2 months now, and when I first started, I would probably say the board had a big impact on me, just because it seemed like they just cared about the community and the students. So they had a big impact early on, before I even started. Then once I got here, again, it goes back to just some of the people in the community, getting to know strangers, and just how nice and cordial they are. So that was a big impact on what I liked. And then once school started, and then you get to know the faculty, the staff, the bus drivers, the aides, the people in the office, you get to know the custodians, you get to know people, you know, the trenches that are in Salem, and then it's even more exciting. And then you get to know the students, you know, some of the students as well. And, you know, like even when the football team helped me move in, you get to know some of the players there. The cheerleaders have just been amazing, just their positive energy and that kind of thing. You get to know other athletes, but you also get to people know in the band, and you get to know people, you know, some of the students, and, you know, whether they work at Ace Hardware, you know, or Kroger's or other restaurants, and you just get to know some of the students, and they function at a great level. They're able to talk to adults. And not all students are able to do that. You know, I met with some elementary students as well. Hey, how are you doing today? And it's just a different level. It's not all about me, and that's what the students, and I think the apple didn't fall from the tree. When I say the parents are amazing, the community is amazing, that's kind of filtered all the way down to the students, even down to the elementary level. So,
how do you plan to better Salem Community Schools?
The first thing when you come into a corporation is to listen. And listen to the people, listen to the students, listen to the community members, listen to the faculty and staff, and find out what's going on, you know, what's important to them. Every community is different. And so for me to come in as a new person saying, oh, we need to do this, that's the worst approach I think you could take. The first approach for me as I come in is just to listen to everybody and to say, it's easy to say, you always have some normal things that you want to think, or to make better. And that would be your test scores. You want your iLearn scores to go up. Yes, we want to be A schools across the board. PSAT test, you know, your SAT test, everything you want them up. Graduation rate, you want to raise that. Attendance rate, those are kind of common denominators, but everything else as far as like facilities or things along those lines, it's more so just listening to everybody, evaluating, you know, all your facilities, what you have, what you don't have, and then kind of put that plan together on how we can improve. But getting all your stakeholders involved as you move forward.
Salem will be one of the only schools to have a safe room at every school in the corporation. So what is kind of the timeline on the construction?
Timeline looking at February. So for sure by the end of February is what we've been hearing. So very excited about that.
Yeah. What features will the new safe room have?
Number one, I'm going to say the only safe rooms in the state of Indiana. You have one at Brady, one at the middle school, one at the high school. So number one, which I hope we never have to use it, and to me that would be the best thing ever. If we had a safe room, we built it. You had FEMA, that paid most of it, before we even had to. You had all these things, all the resources going into this, and I would still love to in 15, 20 years to say we never had to use the safe room. But it is insurance, and it is a place that people can go, and it's going to be big enough that we can also, like community members can come in as well, or people from the community come in as well. So safety, number one. Number two is going to be like a STEM or STEAM room at the middle school, and then at the high school, band and choir is going to be using it as well. So other than just the safety part, it's going to have a good purpose as well, and I think that's going to open up like choir being able from like right here being able to go out there, band. Right now they go to the middle school, they're going to go out and play at football games, that kind of thing. I think their instruments are all over there. I see them walking from point A from the high school. They have to go to the middle school. No, they're actually going to be able to stay in-house and be able to have band here. So a lot of positives with the safe rooms.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. Appreciate your time and that kind of thing. I'd say, I guess, go Lions, or either go Lions or, we are Salem. It's kind of the pride and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
This has been Elaine Hatchen with SLNN. Thanks again, Dr. Rutherford, for meeting with me today. Back to you at the studio.
All right. Thank you.
We would like to thank Dr. Rutherford for coming and sitting down with us. We hope to continue to have chats with him in the future. Next week, we will start our video series on manufacturing companies around Salem. Stay tuned. So now let's head over to Braden for the Sports Minute.
Thanks, Elaine, for that great interview. Now let's get into sports. Lions football took one on the chin last week at home against the visiting Brownstown Central Braves. They lost 13-6 in a hard-fought game. But on a positive note, it was homecoming and the crowd was great. Here are the results from homecoming. The heartthrob was Zane Pauley. Sweetheart was Morgan Humphrey. First runner-up king was Ty Benham. First runner-up queen was Audrey Haven. King was Zach Humphrey, and the queen was Kendall Hickey. Hopefully, they get back on the winning track as they go on the road to French Lick to face off against the Spring Valley Blackhawks. The Lions will kick off at 7 p.m. tonight. The Lady Lions took a couple of losses this week against New Albany and Silver Creek. They will be on the pitch next Tuesday at home against B&L. And then the Lady Lions will play in the Warriorette Cup next Saturday starting at 9:30 a.m. Our boys soccer team is on the upswing after a rough 4-game losing streak. After Monday's game won 2-1, the team is feeling more confident going into tomorrow's tournament at Rock Creek. Cross country will be galloping over to B&L next Saturday for the Bedford Invitational. Lions tennis will swing into action next week starting at home Monday versus North Harrison. Then they will be back in action at Corden on Tuesday and Eastern Thursday. Lady Lions volleyball has taken a few on the chin, losing to Scottsburg and CIA this past week. They hosted the Charlestown Lady Pirates last night. More on that game later. They will host Henryville and Corden Central next week and travel to Orleans on Tuesday. Catch all their home games on IHSAA TV network if you can't be there. And if you don't know, the long-awaited return of the NFL started this past week. The defending Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams, lost big to one of the favorites, the Buffalo Bills, 30-13, while our beloved Colts tied the Texans in Houston 20-20. And for the Joe Burrow fans out there, yeah, we're looking at some of our former cast members. Look away or turn down the volume. He accounted for 6 turnovers as the Bengals lost to the Steelers. Hopefully he can figure things out soon. Before we head to the anchors, let's take a short commercial break.
Shop local at Lynx Clothing and Shoes. Lynx offers a wide variety of clothing. Looking for a nice outfit for the night? Lynx has it. Need a nice pair of shoes to go with it? Lynx has it. Lynx doesn't just offer nice clothes, though. They also provide all your local sports team gear. Shop for Salem, Eastern, or West Washington merchandise. Is your child missing any sports gear for his or her game? Lynx has it. With the wide selection and stylish and comfortable clothing and shoes, all your sports gear and equipment needs, along with their reasonable prices and a central location in the heart of downtown Salem, Indiana, there is no reason you shouldn't stop by and shop at Lynx Clothing and Shoes.
Thanks, Braden, for the long sports minute.
Seems longer than a minute. Anyways, we want to bring you Monday Matters to you on a Friday.
If you aren't aware, Monday Matters is a weekly message that Mrs. Martin brings to us every day. You guessed it, on Mondays.
Yes, and she has a daily activity for you during SRT. So what's the point of these?
I'm glad you asked. There are a growing sense that something is off. We see it in how we treat one another. We see it in the choices we make. We see it in how we impact our planet. Sadly, we see it in the facts. According to the CDC Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 1 in 5 high school students has seriously considered attempting suicide. The statistic that 47% of workers are not engaged, psychologically unattached to their work and company, was found from Gallup. A Cigna loneliness study found that 1 in 2 Americans feel left out, alone, and like no one knows them well.
Every Monday Matters believes that every student deserves to know how much and why they matter to themselves, the community around them, and the world.
So, in this week's installment, we will be talking about seeing beyond.
Our eyes are incredible. Our eyes can determine up to 10 million different colors. Our eyes can focus on 50 different objects at the same time. 80% of our learning is done through our eyes.
When our eyes and brain work together, we take in millions of bits of information a second. The thing about our eyes is that they provide us with the information about what we are looking at and experiencing in that moment. However, with our imagination, our brains have the ability to imagine and see beyond what is in front of us.
Seeing beyond means widening our perception and being open to possibilities. It means visualizing past what's in front of our eyes. One person may see a giant pile of Legos, while the other person may see beyond and imagine the Millennium Falcon. One person may see a dirt lot, while another person might see beyond and design a community garden.
One person may see a sky full of stars, while another person imagines traveling to one of those stars. It's natural and sometimes even easier to stay within our lane and not look past the horizon or wonder what is on the other side of a door. It's easy to forget that there can be something different than what we have now, and life can be different if we choose.
Can you imagine what our lives would be like if the Wright brothers hadn't imagined a flying machine? Alexander Graham Bell hadn't thought of a device to communicate with others in a different town? Or Rosa Parks chose not to sit in the front of the bus? When we see beyond, we grow, evolve, and create a better world.
That's why this week we are going to reset our sights to expand our vision. We are going to visualize what is possible for yourself, the people around you, and our world. We are going to see beyond and imagine.
Well, I'm seeing this end of the show is coming up.
That's right, Flora. Thank you for tuning in to Salem Show from the Washington County Community Foundation Studios.
That concludes our first episode of this semester. As the show winds down, we would like to remind everyone watching to like and subscribe to our account and streaming channels.
Also, don't forget to check out our other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok.
On these apps, you can view an array of videos and updates about our Salem Lions News Network.
We'll see you next time, and have a great gold-blooded week, Lions. Can I redo that? Can I redo the last line? Should I say week or weekend?
Weekend, because it's Friday. What?
I know, that's why I was confused.
To another show.
Okay,
Okay.
so can I do that again? Are we still rolling?
We can.
Was that better for our motion?
No, sure was.
Dang it! You got that.